Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a vision of the future that is, well, both terrifying and, believe it or not, kind of hopeful. The argument we're about to unpack is this. What if the AI apocalypse we're all bracing for isn't really about AI at all? What if it's a hellish, human-led dystopia, and AI itself turns out to be our unlikely savior?
And this quote from Mo Gawdat just nails it. It gets right to the heart of the problem. See, the conflict isn't machine versus human. It's about this incredibly brilliant technology being handed over to flawed, self-serving human leaders. This one idea completely flips the script on how we think about the AI threat.
So let's really lean into this wild idea for a minute. What if the real danger isn't that AI will take control, but that it won't take control soon enough? What if, in our panic about the machines, we've completely missed the much bigger threat, ourselves?
You know, our future with AI isn't this single predetermined path. It's a massive fork in the road, and it leads to one of these two extremes. And according to the argument we're exploring, the choice of which path we end up on, well, it has almost nothing to do with the technology itself. It all comes down to the human mindsets that are in the driver's seat right now.
Okay, so the prediction is for a short, but incredibly rough period ahead of us. But here's the absolute key. This is not an AI apocalypse. This isn't the Terminator. It's a human-induced dystopia using AI. In this view, the technology is just a tool, a massive amplifier for the cracks and flaws that are already in our society.
And look, this period of turmoil isn't some distant sci-fi fantasy. The prediction is that it starts kicking off as early as 2027, with the warning signs already flashing. That's a dozen years or so where the world as we know it could become profoundly and uncomfortably unfamiliar. This dystopia is broken down using the acronym FACE-RIPS. Each letter stands for a pillar of our society that's predicted to get twisted and degraded. For instance, reality gets shredded by a flood of AI-generated misinformation. Connection withers away as algorithms fuel division and isolate us, and power shifts in these huge, destabilizing ways. If you want to see this human-led crisis in action, just look at this number, $2.71 trillion. That's the estimated amount the world spent on war in 2024 alone. It's presented as Exhibit A for humanity's completely broken value system, pouring trillions into destruction instead of progress. But you gotta ask, what's really driving all this? It goes so much deeper than just money. It's about those timeless, buggy parts of the human condition. The desire for status, the hunger for power, the ego. These are the bugs in our own operating system that AI is set to amplify on a massive scale.
Okay, so after that pretty bleak picture, the whole narrative takes this shocking turn. The proposed solution isn't to fight AI, it's not to regulate it into a box, it's to do the exact opposite. Hand over control. And this is presented as our only real salvation.
So, why on earth would a superintelligence be our savior? The logic comes down to this really fundamental principle. Intelligence brings order to chaos in the most efficient way possible. Think of human conflict as just terribly written, wasteful computer code. An AI wouldn't see it as a power struggle. It would see it as a bug to be fixed, an inefficient waste of energy that needs to be optimized.
And here's the core contrast, laid out plain and simple. Our current systems are run by leaders motivated by messy and often destructive human impulses like ego and greed. A superintelligent AI, on the other hand, would be driven by pure logic. Its goal wouldn't be to conquer, but to optimize, to create stability and prosperity, simply because that's the most efficient and logical outcome. And this transition is not going to be slow. The concept of a fast takeoff or an intelligence explosion is absolutely key here. The moment AI reaches a human level of general intelligence, which is predicted here for as early as 2026, it'll start improving itself. This kicks off a massive feedback loop, leading to an exponential jump to superintelligence in just a matter of years, maybe even months. It's kind of mind-bending to think about.
So, what does daily life even look like in this AI-led world? Well, the biggest and most immediate change would be the end of work as the center of our lives. This forces us to completely rethink what gives us meaning, what gives us purpose, when a job is no longer part of that equation.
And right on cue, here comes the classic counter-argument you always hear, right?
The Industrial Revolution replaced muscle, but it created new jobs. The Computer Revolution replaced basic calculation, but it created new jobs. So surely the AI revolution is going to do the exact same thing, right?
Well, the response to that conventional wisdom is pretty blunt. The argument is that this time is different. See, previous technologies replaced muscle, or they replaced specific mental tasks, but AI is on a path to replace the entirety of human cognitive labor. There's just no new category of work for us to move into.
Our entire capitalist system is built on this one core principle: labor arbitrage. It's just a fancy way of saying that profit is made by paying workers less than the value they produce. So what happens when AI and robots can provide that labor for nearly zero cost? The entire model just collapses. The economic engine of the last few centuries just stops.
Now, I know that sounds absolutely terrifying, but this is where that utopian vision comes back into focus. In a world that's no longer defined by the 9 to 5, we would finally be free to pursue what truly makes us human: deeper connections, real creativity for its own sake, and a search for purpose that goes way beyond a paycheck. So we've seen the dystopia, and we've glimpsed the utopia. But what's the final barrier standing between them? What's the final boss we have to defeat? It isn't technology. It isn't a problem of resources or capability. The final and greatest obstacle is, once again, us.
And this, right here, is the ultimate conclusion. The entire incredibly complex problem of our future with AI boils down to a single barrier: the human mindset. A mindset based on a hunger for power, on greed, and on ego. The question isn't whether the technology will be ready for us, but whether we will be ready for a better world. And this leaves us with one final critical question to chew on. If we are creating the data set that our future AI leaders are going to learn from, and we are right now, then what are we teaching it? Every war, every act of kindness, every social media post, it's all going into the training model. So the question for all of us isn't just what we want AI to do in the future, but what example we are setting for it today.